be a goalkeeper first. And whenever I hear a coach or a sport director or something, and the first thing they say about a goalkeeper is how good he is with his feet, that to me is a massive red flag. I need my goalkeeper to stop balls going in the back of the net first. Hey, this guy is an unbelievable shot stopper. He's great at crosses. He does a great job connecting with his defense. And oh, by the way, you should see him pass out of the back. Hey, look, this guy's great passing out of the back, but can't keep a ball out of the back of the net. Oh, hey, let's sign him in goal. That sounds like a great idea. That's going to help us win games. So I think Onana, they've got their priorities twisted a little bit. And in doing that, they have put themselves under a bunch of undue pressure. Now, okay, I get the idea that you're saying, hey, we want to change the way we play. And for as great of a servant as David De Gea was, this isn't one of his strengths. But what you can't do is take away all the strengths that David De Gea had and then just have somebody that can pass out of the back. Because I'll tell you the other thing, that if you go across the board, you look at all the goalkeepers that are ultra confident with their feet, they will also be the ones with the most mistakes with their feet. Because Shaka and I were like, I'm not doing this. I'm getting the ball out of my feet because I'm not going to be that weak link. So instead, if I'm out there thinking I can Cruyff people, I'm going to make mistakes, and my team's going to pay the price for it.
Guys, welcome back to another video. This is The Connect. So we are talking about André Onana. Remember, this is the Manchester United segment that has been going on for some time now, the takeover that is. But let's talk about what, like I talked about yesterday, the crisis in the feet, in the pitch. You can see that the problem here is this: Onana is very good in terms of being a player, but not being a goalkeeper. In terms, I'm not saying that is that terrible of being a goalkeeper. I just feel like there are so many mistakes he's making, and like we are being told here by ESPN, there are so many errors he's making each and every day, and that is making it hard for anybody to stand up for him. And in fact, I think he made himself the target. If he was just calm and he became any other player who was joining a new squad, everything would be okay. But he came in and he wanted to be the star of the show. And if you are the star of the show and you're making so many errors, the whole world will come against you, and that has derailed and destroyed his confidence as a player. And that's why maybe we are here. But like he's talking about, the first mistake which was done was United saying that they wanted a goalkeeper who was good at their feet. Never thought about even the way he saves. They should have said, we need a goalkeeper who's both at least at serving the goal and also with his feet. And Alisson type of a goalkeeper. I know I'm not talking like the higher quality of Alisson, but somebody who can do both, in which Manchester United really got terribly wrong here.
André Onana's trying to play out of the back. He's trying to do it with Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Surely that's not helping.
No, it's not. I think Manchester United's defensive issues are playing into André Onana's mistakes and lack of confidence. Who thought we'd be talking about a Manchester United rear guard of Maguire, Evans, Dalot, and whoever else they're throwing at the back there.
Lindelof often.
And Lindelof. Whoever thought we'd be seeing that in 2023. I think André Onana is an incredibly talented goalkeeper. And my concern, and you certainly showed that in the Eredivisie and in Serie A, my concern with Onana is I get the feeling that coming in, he knows who he's inheriting the gloves from in David De Gea, his record and reputation at Manchester United. He has a conversation with Erik ten Hag and says, listen, Ten Hag says, I need leadership in the back there. I want to have a goalkeeper who can play the ball out the back. It's good with his feet. You showed that you can do that. You tick all the boxes for me. But first and foremost, I really need a leader. And Casey's been there. You play in your first game, your first handful of games for a new club. Your focus has to be on you and making sure you settle in well. And was the Wolves the first game of the season? Was Wolves the first game of the season?
Wolves.
First game of the season. With this, and again, I think it's down to the instruction that he was given that I need a leader. I need somebody to take command of the box, of the defense. And rather than focusing on what he does, he comes for a cross in trying to make up for defense, for a failing defense. Gets himself in no man's land, gets lucky. Maybe because he gets lucky, it's spoken about a lot more than it would have otherwise. And he finds himself in the spiral, straight off the bat. What he needed was a half dozen games, just play your game. I don't care if you don't come for a cross, just settle in. But he came out the traps trying to be all things that Erik ten Hag wanted or said he needed. And now he's just found himself in a position where his confidence is lacking. He's not good with, his confidence is lacking playing the ball out the back with his feet. His confidence is lacking when he's standing on the goal line trying to make a save. I mean, some of those goals that he's conceded, I'm confident me and Casey can save right now. And that's it a lot. And that for me is where Onana has found himself in a spiral. And to be honest, when you find yourself in that spiral, it's really difficult to get out of. I'm not sure.
We can't disagree with this. Manchester United are lacking so many leaders in that team. They need so many leaders to be at least a better team. And Shaka is really correct that André Onana came in on that mission to become the difference maker, to become the guy who actually improves Manchester United in terms of leadership. But he also is now this is forcing him to do things that he's not supposed to do. Because firstly, you're a goalkeeper. One of the most important and the most, spotlighted position in the game, if I say it like that. And he's busy taking out and coming after other players. And in preseason, he did not even help himself by coming after another player who had his confidence, which was low. So now people expect you to be at a higher position than other players, because you have already proven that you want nothing but the best. You came after a player who had his confidence low, and this is not even helping him. So rather than to focus on him building that confidence himself, he went to deal with other things. And trust me, the English media, the fans, the rival fans, and anybody will never forgive you for that. And that has destroyed the confidence of André Onana. And listen to some of the mistakes that he's making. Shaka is talking, how long has Shaka been retired now? He's talking that he can save those chances. Now that is scary. Hearing a former goalkeeper who has not been doing this job for some time saying that I can actually save some of the mistakes this guy is making. He has to improve. He has to work on his confidence. He has to find somehow to get himself out of this nightmare, because if this continues, it's going to be very, 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 very crazy. But anyway, let's hope he works on that. But one thing that is just wrong with Manchester United as a club is they're just doing the wrong business. Evans and Maguire, like Leicester's 2018 defense, it's what is keeping Manchester United playing right now in 2023. How many years later? And does that tells us improvement? Does that even give anybody belief that there's direction in wherever this Manchester United squad is going? So many questions that need so many answers, and that becomes the problem of the story.
How you do?
Would you back him to dig himself out of the
My wife's
spiral?
going to say to me, "You're late home tonight." I say, "Well, we're talking about goalies for an hour and a half." I'm stuck. What have I done? I say, an hour and a half later, we're still talking about
I'm
goalies.
sure she won't mind your tardiness.
What have I done? I've definitely upset somebody today, haven't I? Look, there's no excuse for... The worrying thing for Onana is both sides of the game. The goalkeeping mistakes,
Right.
the passing out from the back mistakes. You could maybe throw a bone out there and say, well, it's a culmination, and you've touched on it, of a very poor defensive back line. I was going to call it a unit, but it hasn't been a unit because there's been so many changes in that back four. And a lot of the players don't want the ball to the feet, and that's what they're trying to do. So it's kind of against the whole grain of what Ten Hag's telling his goalkeeper. That doesn't make up for the basic mistakes that he's made from pretty simple shots. But you might say, well, what's he came from in the most recent season? Well, he came from a team that was in the Champions League final, that was defensively solid, that had a back three that was big and strong and wanted to defend and defended the box and crosses and all that kind of stuff you'd expect from a really solid Italian team. And he's came into this, and let's be honest, it's been a shambles, right? And he's now involved in that shambles. And if there is any excuses, you might say, well, that's part of it. Because the transition in moving to such a big club, with all that pressure, it's not been helped by the fact that they're all making mistakes and now he is as well. That's kind of the only bone I could throw out there to make an excuse for him. He won't be the first and he won't be the last to go into this club, particularly in the Sir Alex Ferguson days, and feel the pressure. That being said, having played where he's played, he should be quite used to that. And he seems to me the type of character who's certainly not short in self-confidence. He's shown that by the way he's performed at Ajax and certainly the way he performed at Inter Milan.
The important thing that Craig talked about here is, of course, you have been bought as a goalkeeper who's very good to playing with your feet. Now, just if you are making mistake in terms of saving, we say no, you are a feet saving goalkeeper. You use your feet to do whatever you do, passing and the help. But the problem is this with Onana. He's making mistakes even with his feet. And making mistakes with his feet, that just destroys any direction in whatever we are going to say about this goalkeeper, hoping that he produces something. Because if he's making mistakes with his feet, then why exactly did you have to take away Daguerre? Because Daguerre was making mistakes with the feet as well, not so much with his hands. This guy is making with both. So rather than to talk about David Daguerre being the worst, we are just here now talking about Onana being the worst of the two. That's where we are now. You see how much this creates this cycle of craziness. So he has to find himself. He has to find himself. What made him so good? Why a club like Manchester United to scout him? There have to be a reason. He showed it at Inter. He showed it as well at Ajax. He has to do with it. The reason why this guy trusts him, Erik ten Hag, it's because he has worked with him before. So he has to find that confidence so that there is direction in whatever he's doing. Because at this moment, it's just terrible. And I really feel sorry for him, because if this continues, man, I don't even know what's going to happen with him. It's just painful to watch at the moment. But also, there is also interesting thing now. This is the Manchester United problem. You buy a ball-playing goalkeeper who wants to build up his play from the back, and you're busy playing defenders who are not comfortable with the ball in their feet, which whenever they get the ball, the only thing they think about is kicking it up top. Harry Maguire does that. Johnny Evans better, but he does that. So even the players like Wan-Bissaka, he's good without the ball, marking a player, not really actually moving with the ball. Dalot, I could say, he's different. Luke Shaw showed that he could do it, but now it's a situation of hoping and thinking that things would be and should be and could be. That's a problem for Manchester United. That doesn't give us any direction over where they're going. That's why these problems, as much as people talk about how they're going to change, they are going to keep happening the way they are. This is where we are. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Am I being too harsh, or am I giving you the straight facts? Onana has to focus on only his game. Let him build his confidence there. Let him start there before he starts going after other players or doing other things. Because the British media, like I'm saying, the rival fans, even the United fans, will not forgive you. And at this moment, it looks like he's public enemy number one. Hope that things changes. Maybe I'm just being too reactionary, but people are talking about it, and we are reacting to it. That just tells you how much. 11 games, 3 clean sheets. The guy, how many goals was he scored in the first 11 games? You know it. You have the last season results. I'm out. Subscribe to the Connect.